Time to turn now to today's business news. We're joined on set by Stephen Carroll. Stephen, let's start in the United States, where tens of thousands of airline workers have found themselves out of work.
That's right. 32,000 staff at American Airlines and United are being temporarily laid off or furloughed after the US government failed to agree on a fresh round of emergency aid for the sector. Until now, the companies had been keeping staff on their payrolls as a condition of getting federal money. Both airlines say they'll bring the workers affected back if lawmakers can agree more aid in the coming days. Yuka Roye has the story.
Passengers haven't returned, and US airline workers are being forced to go on unpaid leave en masse.
There's so many emotions that are pulsing through my veins and through the veins of 8,000 other American Airlines flight attendants who are also on this last day of the payroll support program, which has stabilized our jobs, maintained our health care, and we don't know what's going to happen next.
The payroll support program is part of the US government's $2.2 trillion stimulus package signed in March. Under the Coronavirus Aid, Relief and Economic Security Act, or CARES Act, $25 billion were provided in grants to passenger airlines specifically to prevent furloughs. The hope was that the industry would recover before the ban expires on the 1st of October, but that hope has faded. American Airlines has announced putting 19,000 staff on unpaid leave, including 1,600 pilots. United is also temporarily laying off 13,000 employees, but no pilots. Industry-wide, the number may be far larger.
There's 100,000 workers on various statuses, but 100,000 people immediately facing being out of work, and many of them losing their health care as well.
The four largest US carriers combined lost $11 billion in the second quarter alone, double their loss in the first quarter. With passenger volumes down almost 70% from a year ago, the industry is unlikely to take off again, at least until late in 2021.
The discussions between Democrat and Republican lawmakers over the new stimulus package are ongoing in Washington. The Trump administration now offering a package worth $1.5 trillion, which would include $20 billion more for airlines. Now, that's short of the $2.2 trillion that's being sought by Democrats. The package would also include more money for small businesses and another round of payments for to taxpayers. US Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin says they're ready to compromise.
The president would like to do a deal that's a fair deal and something that can help the American public right now. We're not going to do a $2.2 trillion deal. The good news is the speaker has come down from her $3.4 trillion deal. If there's a fair compromise, we're prepared to do it.
Turning next to the stock markets, and Stephen, trouble in Tokyo.
Yeah, the stock exchange in Japan didn't open today, or at least in the Japanese capital, because of a technical problem. It's the worst outage that's been seen on the market since it switched to electronic trading over 20 years ago. This is a massive disruption to the world's third largest bourse. Now, between the issues in Tokyo and holidays in China and South Korea, it makes for a much quieter day's trading on the Asian markets today. We're taking a look, though, at what's happening in Mumbai and what's happening in Sydney today, too. Both of those stock markets trading up a short time ago. You can see the figures there. Sydney's S&P ASX 200 up over 1%. Same for the Sensex in Mumbai. In European trading, European markets starting the day also up at the start of trading. The CAC 40 in Paris up by over 1%. And it's retailers, banks and technology firms that are leading the gains today.
Well, turning next even to Facebook, which has changed its policy on political ads as the US election approaches.
This has been a controversial issue for the social network, which had previously said it wouldn't fact-check political ads on its platform. Facebook now says it will ban advertising that seeks to what they're calling delegitimize an election. That includes claims of widespread voter fraud or corrupt voting practices. The new policy also bans ads which claim that the date of the election or the way in which the president is elected can be changed in a way that's not legal.
And finally from you, Stephen, the state of California has passed a law which will force companies to have more diversity.
It's a first in the United States, a bill signed into law by the Governor Gavin Newsom. It requires publicly traded companies which are headquartered in California to have at least one board member from an underrepresented community. That includes Black or African Americans, Hispanic, Latino, Asian Americans, Native Americans, or people who identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual or transgender. By 2022, company boards of 9 people or more will have to have at least 3 members from these communities. California lawmakers saying they couldn't wait any longer for companies to address the lack of diversity on their boards.
Okay, positive news there to finish with the business news. Stephen Carroll, thanks a lot for that.